Hey YouTube world, what's going on? Mark here from TST Industries, back in the garage with another video. And in this video, I will be guiding you through the installation process of our TST Rearset Risers for the Suzuki GSX-8S and Suzuki GSX-8R. The installation process that we are about to show is exactly the same from one model to the next, although we are filming it on our Suzuki GSX-8S. All of the kit components are exactly the same as well, so please note that before following along. Now, when we designed this product, we set out with one thing in mind and one thing only, and that was to provide additional clearance for riders for their foot controls. If you've been following along the release of this bike, or these bikes I should say, and all of the publications that have been put out, including our first ride reviews and our track videos, you do know that there is one common issue a lot of riders are complaining about, and that is they're scraping their foot controls when leaned over hard riding these bikes pretty aggressively on the track. So we designed this product to enable riders to relocate and reposition their OEM rear sets or any other aftermarket rear set that utilizes the OEM mounting points to a higher and further back location. You can see here, this is a 6061 billet aluminum CNC machined rear set riser, anodized black, manufactured right here in Central Florida. We have designed it with multiple mounting points, and I should note that every rear set brand is different. So the OEM rear sets, for example, we will not be able to utilize the lowest most mounting points due to interference with the return spring mounting point on the back of the OEM rear sets. However, for aftermarket rear sets, that may not be the case. So all that to say, when you are performing this installation process, please ensure that you are testing clearance with all the components on both the right and the left side rear set to ensure that you do not lock up any components or have interference with anything. This installation process is pretty straightforward. Some basic garage tools like some Allen keys or hex keys, along with medium strength thread locker and a torque wrench is all that's needed. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in and begin this installation process. We will begin this installation process by removing the two bolts securing the OEM rear set in place. It is important to note that Suzuki did apply thread locking agent onto the bolts and torque them down, so you may need to use a little bit of muscle and elbow grease to break them loose. Now, as I remove these bolts, I will do them incrementally, one after another, in order to prevent one bolt from coming out and then it torquing or twisting and creating tension on the other bolt. At this point, when you're removing the last bolt, you just want to go ahead and support the OEM rear set to prevent it from falling and hitting your exhaust or any other components. And you can see here when looking at the OEM bolts, they do have some blue thread locking agent on them. We will go ahead and toss these OEM bolts to the side as we will not need them for the installation of our kit. Now, looking at the components from our kit, you can see we have two rear set riser plates. They are side specific. If you look on the back, one ends with an L, that will be for the left side. The other should have an R on the back, and that will be installed on the right side. Now, looking at the kit contents, we have 4 bolts and 2 washers. 2 of the bolts are these socket head cap screws, and the other 2 bolts are button head cap screws. And then we have 2 washers. Please make sure we are not mixing up hardware baggies. Do not open both bags and just throw the bolts in a pile. There is a difference in the hardware length from the right side to the left side, so please make note. Now, to install our rear set riser onto the bike, we will be focusing on these button head cap screws. So we can toss these socket head caps and the washers to the side. We are only going to be using these 2 button head cap screws. And we will go ahead at this point, grab our thread locking agent, medium strength. And we'll just go ahead and put a nice little layer on one side of the bolt. With that in place, we will insert the bolt into the mounting hole that is recessed on the riser plate, and we will lay it against the frame and just get a couple threads in by hand. There we are. Now I know it's secured and locked in place. I will repeat the step on the other button head bolt. So again, just some thread locking agent on one side. And again by hand, catch a few threads. This ensures you are not cross threading and you are not applying excessive force. Now with the bolts in place, we can go ahead and grab our tool. In this case, it'll be a 5mm hex key, Allen key. We're using a ratchet adapter for a hex key. And again, in incremental steps, we will go one at a time and begin bottoming these bolts down. Once we are bottomed out, we can grab our torque wrench and set it to 15.5 foot-pounds. Now with the rear set riser mounted onto the bike, we can go ahead and grab the socket head cap bolts and the two washers. And we will go ahead, place the washers over the bolts. Follow the steps with the thread locking agent. And we will grab the OEM rear sets and mount them in the spot that you would like. Now it is important to note, as I mentioned in the intro, the bottommost holes on the rear set risers will have interference on the OEM rear sets due to the equipment. These rear set risers are designed to raise your rear set position and move it back potentially, so at the least amount of adjustment, you may have clearance issues. You will definitely have clearance issues with the OEM rear set. Any other aftermarket rear set, you may not have these issues, so just do your research and test fit before torquing anything down. Please ensure that you have free movement of your brake pedal on this side, on the other side your shifter pedal, and your rear sets and all the equipment back here, your brake switch, your brake line, and your reservoir hose are not kinked or tight or anything like that. Now, I will be going to the second lowest position, and I will feed the bolt through the OEM rear set, catch a few threads, grab the other bolt, thread locking process. Now that both bolts are threaded and securing the rear set in place, we can go ahead and grab our tool. And again, always by hand. To begin, we will bottom them out. Now we will grab our torque wrench, same torque specification, 15.5 foot-pounds. And just like that, this installation is now complete. You will repeat these steps that I just showed on the opposite side, as the installation process is exactly the same. The only thing to note, as I mentioned, is the difference in the length of bolts. The button head ones will be the same length. The socket head will be slightly longer, so please do not mix up the hardware. And most importantly, during this installation process, to note which mounting holes you are using to mount your foot controls to the risers. You do not want to get into a situation where you go out for a ride and you notice that your left leg is sitting higher or lower than your right one. Just taking a few seconds to make sure you're matching will prevent that and make sure you have a fun and safe ride. Now, as you can see with them installed, we did actually mount the footrests a lot higher compared to the stock location. They are also a little bit further back from the stock location. So I think even at this setting, we would definitely be able to really turn some laps at the track and not have to worry about scraping our foot controls. We're really excited to see where the market takes this product. And in the meantime, while factories and companies are developing rear set options, this is a safe and secure option. It's well-rounded. It looks good, being that this riser plate is anodized black. It blends in real well to the rest of the bike. We're very excited to bring this to the market. So be sure, if you like this product, visit our website, tstindustries.com. The link to these risers can be found in the description below. If you found this video helpful, give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn the notification bell on to stay up to date with all the new and exciting videos we've got coming out on the Suzuki GSX-8S and 8R platforms, along with any other bike that may be sitting in your garage. And lastly, stop by our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and X Twitter, all username TST Industries. For now, this has been Mark in the TST Garage, and we will catch you next time.